Hi guys, thank you for joining me today wherever you are in the world. So it could be good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me. This video today is something I did maybe about 8 or 9 months ago about living well with dementia. So what I'm going to do is talk again about how we can live well with dementia. So where do we start with that? As soon as a diagnosis is confirmed that somebody has, for example, Alzheimer's disease, this is when our mindset needs to be switched to, this is just a small part of who I am. The fact that I've been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease or vascular dementia or Lewy body dementia or whatever type of neurodegenerative disease you have been diagnosed with, we've got to remember it's just a small part of who I am. That's what I want you to think. This is just a small part of who I am. I'm still me. I'm still Jim. I'm still Doris. I'm still Pete. I'm still Daniel. I'm still me. So I want us to think about this journey as a journey that involves everybody that you know, whether it's family, friends, medical staff, whoever it may be that is involved in supporting that journey. That's how I want you to think. This is a journey and I am still empowered, I'm still in control, and I'm still able to do all the things I can still do. Being diagnosed today with a neurological or a neurocognitive disorder such as Alzheimer's disease is not all about doom and gloom. It is not a definite death sentence. It's more about, okay, I have this thing, whatever we call it, and I'm going to deal with it, and I'm going to continue as I am. As the journey progresses, we're going to find some issues, some challenges. These might be challenges in changes to personality, to character, to memory, to cognition, to thought, to belief systems. These things will happen. These things will come along. However, you have tools galore to manage these situations. If it's a situation of a loss, think about how do I compensate for that loss? For example, I can no longer drive. How do I compensate for that? Because that is always a big issue. That always impacts on quality of life. So when I'm talking about how do I live well with dementia, we have to consider that. Consider transportation, consider that little loss of independence. Well, compensate for it. How do we compensate for it? Well, if I'm not able to drive for whatever reason, I can call a cab, I can call a friend, I can call a family member, or there is medical transport, there is paratransport, there are services available to help people to get from A to B. So I can still go and do my grocery shopping because I can just pick up the phone and call somebody to take me there. And for me, I'd much rather do that because, as everybody who knows me, I don't like driving anyway. It's probably the lowest thing on my list to drive. I don't think about it. I don't think about cars or anything like that. I would much rather be riding my horse. So I'd rather ride the horse to the store than drive there. So we have to think about how we can compensate for a particular loss. Now, depending on who you are, what your personality is, what your character is, how old you are, what your family connections are, what your support system is, will be a determining factor in how you compensate for a particular loss. But always remember, there's always things you can do. There are always things you can change. You've done it all your life. You've been flexible. You've been adaptable. Let's just turn back the clock 4 years to the pandemic when everything changed. Everybody's behaviour had to change. It was like one humongous global social experiment when everybody had to do things differently. And what did we prove to ourselves? What did we prove? Well, we proved that we are adaptable, that we can change, we can adapt to various situations. And that is how the Homo sapien has become top of the food chain, because of the ability to adapt to changing situations and changing circumstances. And we do this all the time. So tap into that. And always remember, you still have skills, you still have competencies, you still have knowledge, you still have ability. And depending on where you are in life, let's say you're 82. My God, I can learn so much from an 82-year-old. So much life experience. Share the knowledge, share everything you have, all the things you've learned, all the things you've experienced, all the things you've been through. And whilst you're sharing that with other people, remember that you are adaptable and you can adapt to any situation, any circumstance. The other thing to think about in terms of quality of life and living well with dementia, and I do say living well because that is what it's about, is living well, not suffering from, not being a victim of, because if those are the words and the phrases we think, then that's what we become. So we have to change the mindset around that and say, I'm living well with Alzheimer's disease, or I am living well with Parkinson's disease, or whatever neurological, neurocognitive disorder you may have. And it makes a big, big difference to how that disease progresses and how it impacts on you from a psychological point of view, from a mental health point of view, a cognitive point of view, a memory point of view. It makes a huge difference if you are positive and you continue to tell yourself, I live well with Mr. Alzheimer's. Okay? So focus on positive belief systems. Throw out positive energy. Everything's energy. Everything around us is energy. You are energy. I am energy. This water container is energy. We're all connected. That's no different to me and you, because it's energy. And we're all connected through that source. So, living well with dementia, continue doing what you're doing. Maintain a social network. Many people who have a diagnosis of dementia allow their world to shrink, because people can withdraw into themselves through embarrassment, through stigma, through a lack of confidence, through a lack of self-esteem and a lack of self-belief. Well, put all that to one side. Don't allow that, whatever it is, that thing, Alzheimer's disease or whatever, do not allow it to be in control. Do not allow it to take charge. You're in control. You're in charge. What you think, how you feel is so important. So continue doing what you're doing. Have that social circle. Don't become isolated, ever. It's probably one of the worst things you can do. It's negatively impactful on your physiological and your psychological and your mental health. So do not become isolated. Do not withdraw into self. Remain who you are. Remain the person that you are. Hold on to your personhood. Don't change from being that person, because that is so important. Live well with it. Carry on doing everything you do. Do it even better, because you will if you have that right mindset. Diet and nutrition. Think about diet and nutrition. Doesn't matter if you've been diagnosed recently or 2 years ago, you can still change your diet and nutrition to have a good major positive impact on your brain health, on your memories, on your thoughts, on your mental health. So things like the MIND diet, the ketogenic diet, the keto Mediterranean diet, the Mediterranean diet, those are the things we need to think about, because they help promote positive mental health, for one, They also help feed the brain what the nutrients that it actually needs. Dump the soda. You know, if anybody who follows me knows my motto of dump the soda. Don't have all that sugar intake. Have a bit of dark chocolate. That's fine. Chocolate is really, really good for you. Dark chocolate, perfect. Cooked tomatoes gives you lycopene. Eat that. Watermelon, lycopene. Lycopene's a chemical in our body that we need to maintain independence. So think of diet, think of nutrition, exercise. Some of my patients hate it. They absolutely detest exercise. And when you prescribe exercise, they struggle with it. Other people love it. And I love it. I love going in the gym. I love working out. It's something I like to do. And it's healthy for the brain. We got loads of research that shows that resistance training, so weightlifting, is absolutely probably one of the best things you can have for your brain. There's lots of research out there now that shows that. So if we're having our exercise maybe 4 times a week for an hour or so, and having a good healthy diet, a good positive mindset, working on the brain, following through with brain health exercises every single day, which is a good thing for everybody, whether you're 1 or 100 years of age. Brain health exercises is amazing. What do we do with babies? What do we do with children? We encourage play. We encourage them to be active. We encourage them to interact with each other. We encourage them to learn how to problem solve. You know, these are all part of the things we should be doing all through our life. Great, and thank you, Mum and Dad, for putting me on that track, for teaching me how to do that when I was a baby. Now I can do it as an adult. And we should always be doing that. Jigsaw puzzles, crossword puzzles, word search, all those kinds of things that challenge your mind. I can never say this word properly, but Sudoku, Lynn, is that right? Sudoku, yeah, I never got that word right. Do that to challenge yourself, especially if you're not good with numbers like me. That's my biggest challenge. So doing a crossword puzzle for me is easy. Words are easy for me, numbers not so much. So keep challenging your brain. So all those things I've just spoken about, fantastic. Those are the things to do. And those are the things that will help you live well with and along your journey of dementia. And remember, you are never on your own, okay? So thank you for listening to this video, and if you want to reach out to me, you can do so on this channel, you can do so on Facebook, you can do so on Instagram. If you want to see my website, drdannightingale.com, drdanielnightingale.com even, that will get you to my website, and you can Google me. So any questions, any help and support you might need, please let us know. Have a fantastic rest of the week. Enjoy the weekend when it comes around. And remember, guys, say it with me, dump the soda.